It's time to discuss some European football as the final set of second leg matches in the UEFA Champions League knockout playoff phase ended a short while ago, confirming the last 16. Chief among them, the highly anticipated clash between reigning champions Real Madrid and 2023 winners Manchester City, with Real looking to consolidate a 3-2 first leg advantage. We jet off now to the Spanish capital for the highlights which the Mbappes fans will enjoy.
Only one coach has masterminded a Real Madrid exit, having lost the first leg at home in the Champions League. That was Erik ten Hag with Ajax 6 years ago.
We saw at the Etihad just how dominant they can be. They were the better team. Their firepower is so dangerous. So for City, when they have the ball, they want to commit bodies forward, but have to be careful they don't get caught on the break.
And in this sort of scenario, oh, sensational start! Mbappe, one chance, one goal.
Straightforward ball, City defenders ball watching. Stones gets caught out badly, misjudges the flight of the ball. That shouldn't happen. You can't allow a quality striker like Mbappe to get in behind you. But how quickly the striker sees where the goalkeeper is. He can't, take that ball down and then try and beat the goalkeeper. He sees he's off his line, the lob is on.
Vinicius Junior trying his luck down that left flank. Evasive action taken by Ruben Diaz. Mbappe, the deflection. And a Real Madrid corner. Real Madrid looking for variation. Chouameni's ball. Mbappe with a chance again.
There's that run, intelligent run from Mbappe. He's on his way as soon as Chouameni picks the ball up.
He dismissed pretty lightly. Bellingham feeding Vinicius Junior. Rodrigo. Mbappe scores!
Bellingham again, intelligent forward pass. Players pass and move football at its best. Great understanding, but the footwork here from Kylian Mbappe is just outstanding. It's a really tight area, defenders all around it, no panic, great balance. Sits the goalkeeper down and tucks it home, but the build-up, the passing and moving.
Elusive and mobile. Valverde. And Mbappe waits! And he still waits for his hat-trick, having been willing to put himself on the line in the quest for it. Mbappe, it's opened up! Three for Mbappe, three for Real Madrid.
Mbappe picks it up, he steps past Foden and no one engages with him. But he does exactly the right thing here, just opens his body up and whips it, passes it with pace into the bottom corner.
Mush, Camavinga's determination crossed the line.
Yeah, always looked at a risky challenge, he was wrong side of his man.
And it's Marmoush to hit it! And what a hit it was! And on the follow-up, Nico Gonzalez is there. Well, he was there to follow up. There was the question. Well, there's no question of offside, and City are on the board, and there is no Real Madrid clean sheet.
I think it's Mendy, the player lying on the ground, that plays the City players on. He's a thunderous strike, keeper's nowhere near it. They get a bit of luck with the break of the ball.
Real Madrid imperious. Though there was no great challenge for the champions on the night. And for Pep Guardiola's Manchester City, there's an end of empire feel about it.
Yeah, so 6-3 the aggregate scoreline for Real Madrid. And Juan Giarango now joins us to review what has happened. We did say, Juan, when we were previewing the game, that it's going to be tough for City, and it was.
and it was tougher than they expected because Madrid came in with all guns blazing. There was a sense of momentum, and like, I mean, I said it last week. It's a pedigree game. It's about what Madrid have been able to throw out there in terms of they threw their history, they threw their jersey, they threw everything at them, and City just weren't able to handle it. And it was already coming because we already saw what they were able to do last week over at the Etihad.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to ask you a question, Juan, about Kylian Mbappe, because I know I rely a lot on optics, but sometimes the real statistics and the real evidence of performance is in the statistics even more than the optics. And I'm going to suggest that Mbappe is not doing as badly as a lot of people probably think he is, because I note that in La Liga he's just 3 goals off the Golden Boot race behind Lewandowski with 17 goals, and his shot accuracy I'm seeing is at 54%. This is La Liga, which is the best in La Liga, and I'm just wondering about the general narrative about Mbappe not really shining at Real Madrid in the way that a lot of people had expected him to, and I'm suggesting that he is doing well.
You could say that. I mean, it sounds about right? Well, let me add one more to that list. 32 goals that he's been involved in so far this season. That tells you a great deal, doesn't it? So, I mean, if he's been that involved offensively, if he's been that threatening in front of the opposing goal, okay, fine. He's missed a lot of shots. He's come close a few times. It was a bit of a rough start for him. Yes, that is absolutely correct as well. But you can't deny the fact that he is already, I mean, he is fully switched on when it comes to playing at Real Madrid at this time of year. I mean, today was proof in the pudding, but it's also, if you look at one thing that Carlo Ancelotti was, or David Ancelotti more specifically, because he's more of the tactical guru in Real Madrid's coaching staff, notice at times where Vinicius Jr. ends up being. He wasn't just on the left. He ends up being on the right. The goal, the second Mbappe goal, ends up being Rodrigo and Vinicius on the right side. Rodrigo transports the ball, finds Vinicius. Vinicius ends up sending the ball right back to Rodrigo. So you see a lot of mobility now. It's not just, he's here, and that's it. You see a lot of movement, you see a lot of rotation, and then you add Jude Bellingham into that mix. And it does offer a lot of mismatches and a lot of opportunities for Real Madrid in terms of what they've been able to do. So when we look at that, well, Mbappe not only scores on the right, he scores on the left. And today, the hat trick that he was able to do ends up being basically all facets of his play.
Yeah, I thought all 3 goals were really, really outstanding goals, Juan. The first strike was sublime because he took a glance with the ball to see where the goalkeeper was, and that lob effort was done, with such confidence and ease of a high quality player. There, he just takes a quick glance to see where the goalkeeper is, and that takes a lot of quality. But I'm not sure if that was his best goal, because all 3 were really, really outstanding strikes today from the Frenchman.
I mean, how do you like your meat? I mean, how do you like? I mean, what's your favorite? Dish? Basically, whatever you like, it was on display tonight. For even the ones that he missed, even the ones that came close, ended up being ones that you could really appreciate about what he's been able to do, and not only what he's been able to do individually, how he's been able to mesh in compared to his teammates and alongside his teammates. The third goal is pretty much quintessential because it's a counterattack from Real Madrid. And it's not just all pace, because people want to talk about pace and speed nowadays. It's Vinicius putting on the brakes. I mean, he brings the attack to a screeching halt. He thinks about where the ball needs to be. He ends up seeing where his teammates are. They anticipate where Mbappe is going to be. And not only that, when the ball's being moved around, City's defense doesn't shift. Nathan Ake's nowhere to be seen. So Phil Foden has to come in at the last second and switch in for him. And by that time, it was too late.
Yeah, definitely too late. And Juan, I want to ask you a bit about, you just mentioned one of the areas that Manchester City let themselves down, and of course their fans and supporters. But it's as if in the first leg you saw Manchester City put up a fight. Today they didn't even come out of first gear. It's as if, There was no effort.
I mean, I hate to say that there was no effort. Maybe there was no vision. Maybe there was no, I mean, Erling Haaland was nicked up. He was on the bench, but obviously he wasn't going to play, or if he was going to play, it was going to be very little. It ends up being players that just weren't familiar with these. It was interesting. I was hearing the commentary in Spanish, and they were talking about, and it's a great question to start talking about, and you heard it too on the world feed, hearing end of empire type of feeling. Is it the end of an era, or is it the beginning of a reconstruct? And so you end up looking at it from that perspective, because you have players that are coming in, and you're looking at an Omar Marmoush, for example, that just recently came in. Hey, by the way, can you help us out? Savinho, who comes in, all of a sudden players that aren't accustomed to being in those roles, having to be ushered into those roles at City. And then the body language that you saw from Pep Guardiola, at times it seemed like he threw in the towel. That he just didn't know what else to do. He looked at his bench. There weren't many other options, because he could have made more substitutions. He just decided not to.
Yeah, for sure. And, you speak about throwing in the towel, and, it's one thing where people are criticizing Manchester City in the English Premier League, but many people felt as if there was so much to fight for in this Champions League. And we all get it. Real Madrid won. When it comes to the Champions League, it's a different type of beast. Even speaking after the match, Kylian Mbappes was speaking about, his transition period is done. He just wants to rewrite history with Real Madrid. But do you think, moving forward, Real Madrid has what it takes to go on to win this entire competition, despite having to get in such a manner?
They're the favorites. It's very hard for me to go and say, well, maybe you see a Liverpool coming in, although Liverpool had a tough time with Aston Villa today.
Yeah, they drew.
Yeah, they had an extremely tough time, and they almost lost in the end, So Liverpool is one of those teams. If you want to appeal to history, maybe a Bayern Munich, if they get their act together, could do it. Give me any other suggestions outside of that. There really isn't. And Madrid, around this time of year in Champions League, kicks it into high gear, and they've been able to do it once again. Now I can add one now that I think of it. The two teams that they might be playing next, whether it's Atletico Madrid or it's Bayer Leverkusen. So those two teams could end up being one of those problematic sides for Real Madrid. We shall see when the time comes.
Well, it's kind of funny, right, that you brought that up, because we know what Atletico Madrid did to Real Madrid the last time they met them. It ended in a draw. Now, in that same press conference after the match, Kylian Mbappes was asked, which one he'd rather play. And of course, he said it doesn't matter. It's the opponent and they'd have to face them. But he would have liked Atletico only because they wouldn't have to travel. But if you're Kylian Mbappes, I'm thinking I'll take Bayer Leverkusen because of what happened before.
Well, yeah, you could look at it from that perspective too. But both teams are difficult. In Madrid, if I could, I'd love to be there during those 2 weeks of Champions League play in Madrid to see how the environment is. But you see an Atletico Madrid side that struggled against Real Madrid at the end of the day. A team that was basically pinned inside of their own 18 for a good portion of that match a couple of weeks ago. Bayer Leverkusen might not be put in that situation, although this Bayer Leverkusen isn't the same one as we saw last year, so there might be some vulnerabilities. Thus, there might be a great point to what you're saying.
Yeah, Art, Juan, we're going to leave it there. We're going to have a quick look at the other results today. One of them unfinished because it's gone into extra time with PSV and Juventus. So we'll look at that and obviously have the result before the show ends. But Juan, as usual, great talking football with you, not just European football, but all football. And we'll talk again soon.
All right, see you guys later.
Yeah, that's Juan G. Arango, and assessing what happened today with Real Madrid and Manchester City. Here are the results of the other games. We're looking at the Paris Saint-Germain game. They were big 7-0 winners in their game today, and that was a massive result against their French opponents, 7-0. So that was a 10-0 success there.
So
Dortmund and Sporting
round of 16, right?
Yeah, they're through to the round of 16. Dortmund and Sporting were 0-0, which means Dortmund go through 3-0 on aggregate. As we said, the PSV Juventus game is into extra time. So in the quarterfinals, Paris Saint-Germain will tackle either Liverpool or Barcelona. Club Brugge will take on either Lille and or Aston Villa, and Real Madrid, they'll be up against Atletico Madrid or Bayer Leverkusen, and those are the quarterfinal setups. Now Feyenoord, they will tackle either Inter or Arsenal in their match. Bayern Munich will play either Leverkusen or Atletico, and Borussia Dortmund, who got through today over Sporting, they'll play either Aston Villa or Lille, and the Benfica team, they will be tackling either Liverpool or Barcelona in their quarterfinal matches. Those are the brackets as we head into the round of 16 in the UEFA Champions League, the first ever knockout phase of the UEFA Champions League. Of course, previously we had groups, and the top 2 teams in each group went through to the round of 16. That's history as far as the format of the UEFA Champions League is concerned. We go to break. We'll be back with more on the SportsMax Zone after this.